Yo, what's good, fam? It's your boy Zen Yi, and we're gonna get directly into it. We're gonna talk about the Jezebel spirit and how it affects a lot of women and a lot of men today. But before we do talk about that, we're gonna also talk about Jezebel when she was alive and how the Bible portrays her as well. But before we do that, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you like the video, if you like the content, please share so you can let your friends know, and so on and so forth. But let's get right into it. Okay, first, Jezebel was a servant of a cruel and lewd god known as Baal. Okay, she came to Israel to marry the weak simp king known as Ahab. And now, this is what a lot of women do in the modern day and age. When they see that a dude is flaunting his money, or they know that they could just bring the peace sleeve to him and that they can use that to manipulate them to get whatever she wants, she will do that. She'll be promiscuous. She'll give him all the sex she wants. And that's how she'll get access to the resources. And this is what Jezebel did with King Ahab. King Ahab ruled, he was a weak and childish king. But his servants served God in Israel. And Jezebel served Baal. And she came with a whole bunch of priests. I believe there was 850 of them to be exact. And with these priests, they began spreading the word of Baal. And let me tell you how these priests, aka modern day simps, will sit here and glorify this. Okay, whenever a woman does something or she knows she has options, especially when she has orbiters, the simps that she can run back on that encourage her promiscuous behavior. Yeah, the simps that she leads on, and these are the same men that have the same hope strategy that if I do this for her, hopefully she'll give me piece of the peace sleeve, or she'll have me end up in a relationship. Yeah, these are the Jezebels that I'm talking about, who sit there and they'll use these men to sit there and encourage their actions or to do things for them that they know that they can't do. So let me just explain how this goes, okay? So when Jezebel was married to King Ahab, she started the eradication of all the prophets of God inside of Israel. Any man or any woman or any child that served God or did it publicly, she had them hunted down, she had them killed. Why? Because she wanted to convert Israel into the serving of Baal. Baal is a lewd and cruel god. Even the Bible tells us for women not to be promiscuous, and if they are, we have to stay away from women like that. They're not supposed to be showing off their body counts or anything like that. If you don't believe me, you can go look this up in Proverbs, Ecclesiastics, Corinthians, or anything of those chapters. Okay? So I want you guys to understand that when Jezebel did this, she kept doing this. Even though Naboth was the king, she was the queen who was sitting there ruling the country. And again, she was giving Naboth the peace leave and everything. She manipulated him. She was the puppet master and he was the puppet, and she was making him dance on her strings. Okay? And this is what a lot of women do when they try to get resources from any high value man or any man in general that they see that is above them. You don't even have to be high value for a woman to try to get your resources. As long as she looks at you and she sees that you are above her, whether it be in finances, whether it be in popularity, or any so on and so forth. As long as you have resources, these women will come after you. And that's why these Jezebels now are going forward. Okay? So what she did was, as this was happening, there was a prophet of God named Elijah. And I'm going to show you how he is in the modern world today. Elijah pretty much challenged Jezebel and her servants of Baal to a contest on top of a mountain. And pretty much what they were supposed to do is they were supposed to give a sacrifice. And during this sacrifice, it would basically to see who's the true God. When when both altars were created, Jezebel's servants who served Baal started dancing. They still performed self-harm. They did their prayers. Baal didn't even show up. But when Elijah had asked God to show up and to prove that he existed, the sky roared and his sacrifice burst into flame. So what Elijah did was he had all of Jezebel's servants, all 850 of them, eradicated. Okay? This enraged Jezebel. Okay? And I'm going to tell you how this is in the modern day. The modern day woman, or the modern day Jezebel, goes under the guise of feminism. Okay, these are the ones that want equal rights. These are the ones that want to ride the CC, and these are the ones that want to have equal marriage, but in actuality, the women are in control. This is what Jezebel did in her marriage with King Ahab. He was a simp. He let her make all the decisions, and in the Bible it says this is the sign, these are the signs of a failing marriage. And these is what these modern day feminists want to do. These are the modern day Jezebels. Why do you think whenever you do have any men or the Elijahs of the world who are preaching actual truth and logic, they get so much pushback? It's because of the Jezebels and the simp legion that's with them. Okay, so I want you guys to understand this. And I'm not just saying this, oh, he's just quoting the Bible. No, yes, I am quoting the Bible, but I also want you to look into modern day society. You can see it for yourself. You can actually look around. So let me tell you how this happened. So when Jezebel became enraged, she ordered Elijah's execution. And what Elijah did was he fled into the forest. Now, before anybody says anything, they're probably thinking, oh, he's not a real man for sticking up. He's not a real man for, trying to fight back. No, it's what God told him to do. He told him to go into the forest and let him handle it. And that's what he did. He went monk mode. See, a lot of dudes, there's nothing wrong with going monk mode, guys. Like, you begin to find yourself during monk mode, and that's what Elijah did. He was praying, he was worshiping, he was doing all that. And guess what? You know what happened to Jezebel? 3 years later, a war had broken out in Israel, and guess what? The walls of Israel were stormed, and Jezebel was killed during that war. Her servants threw her off of the high balcony. The man who told them to do this, I think his name was Jehuzu. I don't quote me on that. You can actually look up his name. You can actually look this story up. This story is old as dirt. But pretty much she was cast out of a balcony, and she was devoured by dogs. Only her skull, hands, and feet remained, and her blood was licked up by dogs. Okay? This is pretty much what happens to the modern day feminists. They don't get killed or anything like that, but the modern day feminists, whenever they can't get the man they want, whenever they can't get the man they want, or they get challenged, they become enraged, and they start becoming these very angry Karens and things like that. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that. So and this is where I implore you guys to start doing more research, because this will help you out in the long run, especially if you're young. If you're from the ages of 18 to 29 or 18 to 35, this will definitely help you, because you'll notice a lot of Jezebels will be quick to compliment you, and if she makes more money than you, she has no problem giving you the peace leave and taking you out with gifts or anything. All that she's going to do, I'm not saying all women are like this, but what she's going to do is she's going to keep doing this until you become complacent and your spiritual senses become dull, and now she begin to manipulate you, and she hits you with the bait and switch, and now you're sitting here, you're doing things where she's giving you minimal peace leave or that good old starfish sex. You know what I'm talking about. And if you don't do it, you get punished, like a dog who's denied food because they didn't act right. So, ooh, excuse me. So I wanted to make this video for you guys, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.